Yes, let me hit Jerry Mark.
All right, so I'm going to open up the chat here. Actually, you know what? I should have set,
Posted the.
yeah, I should have set it up a little different. Um,
You are you are mute. Mute your is you are on mute. I can hear you.
all right. So we should be good.
All right.
We should be good now. We did have a few frame drops there, but we should be good to go.
Oh. Oh.
And
Okay.
but yes. So well, let me start off
Yeah.
by just saying, all right, this is a prelude to the State
Yeah.
of Gaming series that we have uh, in the works. We have planned, and right now we're just gonna just have a discussion about what's kind of going on right now, but not to give too much, but just to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
of what's going on. And briefly we
Yeah.
talked about Xbox. I mean, we kind of went back into like history a little bit, with the
Yeah.
PlayStation, and you
Yeah.
mentioned, Sega and Nintendo. So let's just start there. Let's start there.
Yeah.
So how did you get into gaming? I mean, what was the first system that you had that that excited you so much? It's like, oh man, this is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. So let's start there. So how did you
Yeah.
get into gaming?
Man, it's a very long story, man. I got my a friend of mine introduced me to gaming. Is Well, unfortunately he's dead now. He's passed on. He was the one who introduced me to gaming, and he sent me to a place I didn't. At that time, you you don't your parents don't even have money to buy anything for you, so you just have to go to places like it's like a game center. They get like an arcade s- place. You enter, you pay money, you play. So he's the one who introduced me to that sort of thing, and I was amazed by that. I was like, wow. So this was the game I saw. I saw uh, there's this game. It was it, man, it was a long time. Family Con,
Oh,
Family Con.
okay.
Yeah, and Family Con had Mario back then.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
classic Mario.
I
Yeah,
gotta say, man, it's been a long time coming. Growing up in the in the '80s,
yeah,
seeing the NES for the first time,
yeah,
and the crazy thing about it though was that it was so mind blowing for myself and my brothers,
yes,
and we were not able to afford a Nintendo. We did have the
at
Atari.
all.
We had the Atari, but when it came to Nintendo, when it was first displayed to us, we was like, "What is this?" Right? And one of my cousins was able to get one, so we would go over to her house to play it. And
Okay.
you remember back in the day, it was one of those when you get the Nintendo, and I mean you sit down and you're
Yeah,
playing it, and then you're doing the controller like
you
this and
play.
that, and those were the days, man. The Super Mario
Yeah,
Brothers, right? And then you had
and the same tune, just doing like this, and everybody does it. It has no boundaries, and you could see that no back in the day, man, it was really good. It was like something that you've not seen before, and you could see how fun people were having, and you be like, you go home and you are wondering that, wow, I have to get this, I have to have this, I have to have this to play some every single day. But
Yeah.
you don't have time to be there when you are ready to go to school. And
Yes.
so when you close from school, you just have to buy some time, go in there and take a, and sometimes you get there, you leave there, it's already late. And when your parents are looking around for you, searching for you, where is our son and everything, then you'll be like, wow, this is the world I used to live in, and it was something else.
Well, definitely. It was kind of similar to the world that we lived in too. Um,
Yeah.
you know, there was times that when we actually first received our first Nintendo, and I think it was when Super Mario Brothers 3
Hmm.
first came out, and my mom used to play it so much, and
uh,
and I was like, we were like, Mom, can we get a crack at it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
like this is like the greatest thing since sliced bread at the time, and
Yes.
and and gaming back then was like it was huge because going even going to school we was like, man, we had no choice but to go to school, right? But at the same time, it
Yeah.
was like in front of our minds, like, okay, I gotta get my math homework done. I gotta get, whatever, work done. But at the same time, we're thinking about going home to play video games, right? So
Yeah.
it was like, man, we get home and like, and my mom, she would be right there playing it. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, like, and then she would just sit there and just play it for like hours. I'm like, could you hurry up, please? But you know, my mom, she was awesome. She was awesome, and she did what she could do in order for us to, you know, be in a space where we could survive because it was just only her, and she was raising three boys by herself, and it
Wow.
was very difficult. And some moments in time in our lives growing up, and video games was one of those things that kept us, from the outside, right? Because that's where we
Mm.
had a lot of fun, especially with Duck Hunt, right? You had Duck Hunt. We had
Yeah.
the little,
Yes. That.
hey, let's go, and then you
I
want to
still
shoot it.
remember that.
Yep, and then you want to shoot the
Yeah.
little dog that pops up on the screen,
That,
knowing that you can't shoot him.
that.
So it was
Back then, nobody talked. Nobody had any business with frame rate. Frame
yes.
rate. That hunt. That hunt is like when you don't have your target right, you'll be shooting, you'll be pressing, and it's not responding, and you're like, wow, what is happening? What is happening? And wow,
Absolutely.
it's true.
Like, do you know how upset I get? Man, I'm like shooting the bird. I'm shooting the bird. I'm like pow, 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 pow. I'm like, come on, man. Are you serious? I'm trying to get the highest score on the game, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll
Yeah.
be like very close to the TV, and be like,
Yes.
pow. Okay, okay, I got it. I got it. I haven't missed a bird yet, right? Pow. They were like, whoa, 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 pow, pow, pow. And then you see the little dog come up. I was like, come on, man, this is crazy.
Oh,
So, so with the Nintendo, um, to me, I feel that's what started it all for us. Um,
yeah.
then we got into that space where you had the Super Nintendo, right?
Yes. Super
The
Nintendo.
Super. But
Super Nintendo
before
was.
the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, we were
Yeah.
always in the arcades. Like we would have like this
Yeah.
little burger joint down the street, and they always had like arcade machines that we would go in to play, and
Yeah.
I had so much fun in doing that. And we also had this city that we would go to, and they would have this lake called White Lake, right? They would have
Oh,
like the
okay.
Ferris wheels and stuff, the rides, but everybody were
Wow.
in the arcades. They were
It
in the
sounds
arc.
and looks fun.
Oh my goodness, we were always in the arcades, and then you have to stand behind somebody that had like 100 quarters, and they taking over the game. I'm like, I want to play, man. Move. I'm like, move, please.
Wow.
Or you have somebody very big at the machine playing, and there's nothing you can do, right?
Dude, yeah,
So my question to you: did you happen
yeah.
to have that luxury in playing, arcades? Do you guys have arcades where you live?
No,
And wow,
not at all. At that time, the country was not so developed back then. It was not as now that now everything you want to buy, you can buy it easily. But it was just a few people who had the opportunity to bring those things. It's like you can count them. And the city was not that massive with adventures and everything. It was like traditional play, like playing like traditional play, but in terms of gaming, no. And we had nothing like that. It got to a point you could see that people really got to find their
right,
self in it, and parents were like, wow, this will keep our children indoors for, and also will help us take some of the distraction from what they do. So it came to build up. In the middle of 2000, but in the late early 90s going up, that we never had that because the country was not as. Now things have changed. Back in the day, if I'm not wrong, I think what we had was, we call it, uh, there's a name for it. It was like, you put your coin in,
mm-hmm,
and the
mm-hmm.
coin, when it's like a jackpot.
Oh, okay,
You put a
okay,
coin in, and when you slot in, and yeah, that was the one that was available in places like children don't usually go in there. It's forbidden for children. So like adults, those who were much older, would go in and have some fun there. But it was not massive as it is in your country. But I think now you go to places, you go to the mall. We have so many malls here. Back then there were nothing like a mall. You go to a mall, you find a place to play a game. You find a place to go to a cinema to go and watch movies. Back then it was like cinema was big then, but not it was not about gaming at all.
oh,
It
okay,
was
okay.
all yeah. So now everything has become like faster. Back then it was very, very like slow. So when somebody gets one, it's like, so if, let me say, if in where I live, if somebody travels to somewhere in America or in UK, and they bring along with something like a, say, Super NES or whatever console, they bring it and they set up something like it's not almost like an arcade, but something small for children to come in and have fun and go. So it will be like a whole community coming in. I don't know how to articulate it, but it's not that huge. And back then you don't have places to go to, so
Wow,
it was
wow.
few.
And I appreciate you, you sharing that. We definitely have
Oh,
to have to get you to America, man. Have you ever been over here?
No, not at all.
Oh man,
At
man,
all.
it's I believe you would definitely have a good time if you're able to, travel and, get over here and be able to, experience, um, what life is like here. And not just that, and also, look at, you know, what America has to offer in different aspects, and and especially gaming, right? Because I'm pretty sure you're
Yeah.
gonna be culture shocked, like, oh wow, this is crazy. Now, and like I told you before, I am ready to come to the motherland. I want to be able to get the opportunity to experience your
Yeah.
culture, and also what it's like, what you will have to go through to experience gaming on, a certain level. So we're gonna get more into that, and but I do want to share with you this, going back to the arcade part of it.
Yeah.
We were in the arcades for, games like Samurai Showdown, right? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I used to
Oh,
play. I used to
teenage.
play the Superman game.
Yeah.
I used to play the Superman game so much.
So
Um,
yes, me too.
RoboCop. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Um, G- Galaga. Oh my dude, it was
it's
just so many
funny. They,
games that we
I'm
had the
sorry. I'm sorry.
opportunity to play, and we did anything and everything that we could to find quarters, right?
Yeah.
Right, we would beg mom, our mom, like, mom, just give me $1 or give me 50 cents, right?
I know that
Um,
language.
and games like Mortal Kombat. Now to get away from the arcade side of it, like I know, the Super Nintendo comes out, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the Sega, the Genesis. I think it was different. Correct me if I'm wrong. I
Sonic.
think it was
Sonic was massive here.
yes,
Sonic
correct.
for for Sega. Yeah, Sonic.
So
So everybody was crazy here with Sonic. Sonic was something that people usually play when you don't get to play Mario. You have something like Sonic all the time, and children were like, "Wow,
yes,
amazed with the way the speed of Sonic, how you move, it was so smooth, and it's the sound, the music, it gets you involved in what you are doing in that world, and that I think made us thought like games were not made by people we would like. How did they make the games, that from how it was back then and how it has upgraded from then? Like Famicom, you could have something like
yeah, I thought it was amazing as well. And it was, um, I don't think it was where I live. It was, one of those competitive nature things. It was just a matter of, you know, um, do you have a Sega Genesis? Do you have a Super Nintendo? It really didn't matter which system
you were
that
playing.
each of us had. We were excited, right? I
Yeah,
was excited to go to my cousin's house or friend's house. It didn't matter if you had the Super or Sega at that time. So I can't speak about how it was outside of that circle that I
circle.
was in. And for the Super Nintendo, you had Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
right? Um, then for the Genesis, you had the staple Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm like, man,
yeah,
this is their mascot, right? Sonic the
yeah.
Hedgehog. We used to, oh my goodness, this
Sonic,
Sonic came out.
Sonic.
We had, I'll share this with
I'm
you.
coming. Be right back. I'm being called.
All right, so we're just gonna take a little brief intermission there. Devon, I see you are in the chat. What's going on? Savala 420. What's going on, man? How you doing? I know you were running around, taking care of some errands. If you're still, both of you
Oh,
guys are still in the chat, welcome.
yeah,
This is our
guys.
our, our prelude to the state of gaming. So right now we're just revisiting the past, talking about some nostalgia.
Retrospect.
Yes, yes. Hey, I think we
Yes.
lost. I think I lost your camera. Did you just turn it off for a second?
No.
Yeah, I can only hear you, but I can't see you, and that's okay. That's okay. As long as I can hear
Oh, but
you.
my camera is still on.
Okay. All right. It doesn't show up here, so I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, let's just keep it going. And just to bring it back full circle, right? We talked now.
Yeah.
The Famicom. I didn't get to the Famicom until
What?
after I joined the service. I didn't even know what the Famicom was,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And I did know what it was, but I didn't know what it was because all I
Oh,
was
wow.
privy to was the Nintendo. But little did I know I had the gaming magazines that used to come out, the
Yeah.
Nintendo magazines that used to come out, and the Famicom. I was like,
Yes.
oh, so that's the Famicom, right? I was like,
God.
duh, right? And you know, but I never played the Famicom. And when I was out in
Uh,
California, because I was stationed out in California, and that was my opportunity to own every system, right? Because there were bazaars. There was a big bazaar out in California, and maybe 420 can. I don't know if he remembers, but I would go off Camp Pendleton, go out to Oceanside, and I think it was just a little north. There was this big bazaar, and they had every video game system, Game
wow.
Boy Color, Game Gear. They had the
Wow.
Famicom. They had everything. So I was able to
So
snatch up
it was like a festival.
yeah, yes, yes. So it's like a huge bazaar flea market type
Wow.
deal. And I think it was called Mission Bazaar. So I do notice 420 is in the chat. Um,
Wow.
he's in the
Welcome,
chat right
man.
now. So if he
Yeah.
remembers,
$4.20.
I think it's called Mission Bazaar, and we used to go there so much for like our video games and stuff like that. But so the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, we had both consoles. We had a great time. They played a little different. You had the 3 button controller, then you had the
Yeah.
4 button controller.
Yeah.
So, uh,
That's true.
and I used to go to one of my cousin's house and stay up all night long playing Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter,
Wow.
or Zelda or something. We were always playing something.
Yeah.
And so now that we have that era, right? On the Sega side came the Dreamcast. I think it was the Dreamcast that was next. And on the
Uh,
Nintendo side came the Nintendo 64.
yes, Nintendo 64.
So I'm not
Nintendo
sure if you were
64.
able to um,
Yes,
have.
from the Super NES, Nintendo 64 came. After Nintendo 64 is the Nintendo GameCube. That is when the started having issues with finance, so they were not able to compete the way they used to. So I think Sega Dreamcast was released, if on the magazines, that I'm not mistaken, the magazines, it was they released it 99, if I'm not mistaken. One of the magazines I used to get. You know, you
Right.
used to write for these things. There were no email, no. You write, you get the uh, postal code of Nintendo or whatever game sentence. You post and you request for a magazine, free one. They had some certain free ones that they send out. So when you get that one, it's like a treasure. It's
Yes.
something, if not, it's like wow, you just can't deny that. And when you get it, you have to smell the kind of like the scent that comes in. You smell it and you say, wow, I'm, I'm holding something like this. And it was amazing. It back then, it was beautiful.
Man,
And I was young then, so then I
you,
was young then, and full
you know,
of energy, full of
I can feel it in your spirit, man. You know,
yeah,
and you have to admit, you know, when you're able to have like a console like these consoles at at those
yeah,
times, it's like you were almost on the top of the world, right?
absolutely,
It's like if you had a pair of Jordans or a certain pair of Nikes or shoes right there,
yeah,
you're on top of the world, right? And then you have these kind of like, oh man, I got the Sega Dreamcast right now. I'm like, no, you
yeah,
don't. Yes, I do. Why don't you come over and let's play it? It's like, oh man, he does. He got the Sega Dreamcast, dude. How'd you get this? Okay, my mom brought it for me.
yeah,
So let's go,
yeah,
let's go.
yeah,
And so one of my favorite consoles was the Nintendo GameCube. I enjoyed the Nintendo GameCube when it came out, and I mean there was a lot of good games on the Nintendo 64 that I enjoyed, like Wave Racer, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mario 64, Mario Kart, right? There's a lot of
yeah.
good games on the 64 that came out. Killing Instinct Gold. Oh my goodness,
Killer
and one of the
instinct, killer instinct.
greatest games of all time to me, right? GoldenEye
GoldenEye.
007.
Ah!
Come on now,
We always go the same thing.
GoldenEye. You know what?
Ah,
I'm gonna give you a quick story, okay?
yeah.
GoldenEye 007. I did not like the game when I first played it. Okay,
Oh,
it didn't resonate with me at all. So
okay.
one day I was in my room, Camp Pendleton, right, with some other Marines, right, and I would come to my room and they would always be in the room. I'm like, why are you guys always here? But they're playing 007, right? I'm like, oh my goodness, dude, can you guys don't you guys want to go date, right? Are there women out there? Go do something, right? I want to come to my room and chill out,
We
right?
cooking something here.
So one of the guys was like, Pat, you need to jump on this. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna jump on this game just to satisfy you guys, right? So I jump on 007. Dude, these guys were killing me. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. They were destroying me left and right. So I was trying to figure out why they was getting me every time. So I was observing and I was like, wait a minute. I just respawned in this area. How did you know I was gonna be there? Right?
be there.
So what they would do was they would take the proximity mines and throw them in the respawn areas. So when you come in, boom. Do,
Yo,
do, do, do. So I was like, okay, so you guys want to play this game? I'm gonna play it too.
yeah,
Bet. So I'm sitting there on the game. I get a few wins. Oh, we got a new subscriber. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. To
thank you,
a new
thank you, thank
subscriber.
you, thank you.
Um, again, welcome, and again, make sure you turn on that notification bell,
Yeah,
and all, and so that you don't miss out what we got going on here. This is
yes,
a prelude to the State of Gaming
yeah,
series that we're gonna have going on here, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to be awesome, and not just us having a discussion about the state of gaming, but also allowing our subscribers and members to come in and voice their opinions as well. So we definitely look forward to that. So thank you for
Thank you.
subscribing. I
Thank
didn't
you.
catch the name,
Yes.
but thank you for subscribing. To
Now,
get
if
back to oh you got something? You was gonna say something?
yeah, I don't know whether it's Jerry,
Oh,
Jerry
so did
Mark.
did you catch the subscriber name?
No, I'm not seeing it, but I'm just guessing whether it is him.
Okay, so I see his name now. CZG Musty. Uh, that's our new subscriber to the channel. So thank you very much for subscribing. And
Thank you very
I will
much.
share with you everything, um, after the live stream here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because
So as you're
I think
saying,
there's a way that I can set it up where you can see everything
okay,
and not just the screen here. So I'll definitely work that piece to make
yeah,
sure that you have eyes on. But to go back to what we were talking about when it came to 007, that's when I got so good at it because it upset me that these guys were doing this to me,
yeah,
right? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit here and throw proximity mines and respawn places and then blah 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 blah. Like yeah, and
yeah,
dude, they got a couple of guys got upset with me. It was like, dude, how did you get so good at this? I sat and watched you guys play. That's what I did. But it worked. You wanna know
wow,
why it worked? Because it stopped them from coming into my room most of the time. So I could come into my room and hang out and chill. So that's where the love came for 007. And I know a lot of people
uh,
out there can say, hey, GoldenEye 007 was the game. I'm not sure if you played it. Have you played the
yes.
game?
If you, the moment you are about to say it, we just say it together. If you could hear me, the
Yes.
moment you're about to say your favorite game, I also said the same thing. If I don't know whether you could hear Golden Eye, I played it, I beat it. The multiplayer within everything. I had an experience with the multiplayer. You know, in the military base, the base there. When you're playing the multiplayer, they have this dungeon, the dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yes, you. So that dungeon, when you are playing a multiplayer and you are back at the corner, you just hide yourself there. There's a corner at that place. So that's how. So you reach a certain loophole in that place. It's like a cheat, but it's not a cheat. You people don't when they are. You know how smart and fast the game is so smooth and fast. So when people reach that place, I'll be hiding there, waiting for the right moment. When they pass me by, I just give it to them. But it's not a cheat. It's just being smart, getting to know where exactly your opponent will be. So that's how I used to. But I I I had the final boss was one I've never going to go back to that game, that final boss. You know,
Exactly.
I started with easy, and when you go to easy, you want to challenge yourself more. You go to the next difficult one,
Right.
and when I played that difficult mode and I reached that boss, man, he always gets me. I don't understand how you just shooting, but it's not like he's not receiving, he's not having any shot damages. It's like you shoot and you just not having anything, and it's like wow,
Right, right,
you feel like
and and and, and,
yeah.
and I know exactly what you mean because there's a lot of video games, that's out there. Once you get to like certain bosses, and you're having a difficult time, and you're trying to figure out how do I even tackle this? How do I even get here to you, you know um I'm gonna take it far as back. um I'm trying to think of any difficult game
Oh,
that was a challenge to me. Because again, you got to keep in mind, I grew up gaming, right? And I'm pretty sure you grew up gaming, but I wasn't an expert, you know, at games. There's just some games that just like I just toss out the window, right? But I got to go out and get it,
have you played Turok on the Nintendo 64 before? Turok,
Are you talking about the Dinosaur Hunter?
Turok, Turok, Turok.
Okay, I got you. Oh man,
It's
so
it's it's, it's almost like the same. Is first person. It's first person, just like GoldenEye,
oh okay,
but
yes,
with
yes.
few monsters like dinosaurs, and what I like about it is the weapons
Right,
you used
right.
to have.
Turok the
Turok,
dinosaur.
yeah,
I think it was called Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. I think
yeah.
several of those games came out, and I didn't really get too much into that game. It
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't one of those games that stood out to me. And
Oh, okay.
but since we are on the subject, well, actually, let's digress from the subject and get back on the console piece of it. You had also after the Sega Dreamcast, you had the Sega Saturn. I think that came out. Um,
Yeah,
Not
but
sure if you're familiar with that. Um,
I've played, but I
or
didn't
was
own
it
it.
or was it the
In
other way around? Was it the Sega Saturn first, and then the Dreamcast, or
the Sega Saturn first before the Dreamcast.
for the Dreamcast? Right? Okay, because I had
Yeah,
them backwards. Okay, it's definitely been a long time, since I've touched
yeah,
either one of those consoles, and
yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to picking up a Dreamcast. I definitely want to pick up a Dreamcast. There wasn't too many games for the Sega Saturn at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good console, but there just
Yes,
wasn't
Sega
nothing
Dreamcast. Yes.
to play on that console. Um, and then what we're going to do is we're going to stop
Mhm.
at PlayStation. Okay, we're not going to go too far. We'll leave that for the actual series, right? We'll lead into
Yeah,
that. And I have to say, you were right for something that you had mentioned because it was Sega and Nintendo, right?
yeah,
And then Sony, being the big company that it was in its time, decided to get into the gaming market. Like, hey, let's
yes.
do it. Now, mind you, from cartridge to CD,
CD.
right?
That was massive. Wow.
So Sony planted the seed right then and there.
Yes,
It was appealing, right?
yes, yes,
Um, it was different, right?
yes,
And it was like, oh my goodness, Sony PlayStation. I'm like,
yes.
okay, we need to take a look at this, right?
Yeah,
And it's different.
yes.
And I have to be honest with you, the first time I was able to play the PlayStation was at one of my cousin's house, and they were big sports fans, right? They were
Oh,
Madden
okay.
fans. I couldn't stand it. They like to play basketball and Madden all the time. And then when they got the PlayStation, they were sports, right?
Yeah.
And I used to get upset. I used to get really upset because they would sit there and they would play it all day long. And I'm like, dude, can I play? Right? Can I get a chance to play? They look at me and laugh, just like you're doing right now. They look at me and laugh. I'm like, ha 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 ha, whatever. So when the opportunity came up, I jumped on it because he had a game called Soul Calibur. I think it was Soul Calibur.
So yeah, so
Soul
I,
Calibur.
I yeah,
So I
in
would
that
sit
game.
there and play that, and I got really good at it. So my cousins would come in and say, okay, since Pat, you like to play Soul Calibur, okay, we're all gonna sit
Yeah,
and play it. So we would
yeah.
just go back and forth and just kill each. I mean,
Wow.
we used to have so much fun. And
Yeah.
there was one game that we got so good at. We could have been at, tournaments and everything, right? Because we played it so much. That
Wow.
was Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat
Oh,
Trilogy.
okay.
We would sit and play Mortal Kombat Trilogy so much. We knew when to block, how, when it was so pristine that
Wow.
one match would just lead to the timer to just. I was like, yo, this is
Wow.
insane. So when we first found out the cheat code, we found out the cheat
Yeah.
code to Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat Trilogy, it was on because they had this one button fatality cheat code. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we
I
could
don't know about that.
do all you had to do was just press a button and then they'd do a fatality or a brutality. And we got so good at it. It was like, oh my goodness, yes. And so that was the first time I played well, I had the opportunity to play a PlayStation because one of my cousins had it. We couldn't afford it, right?
Yeah. No.
And
And my first experience with PlayStation, these were the two games I had. That was Crash,
yes,
Crash,
yes,
Crash Bandicoot, and Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo.
yes,
These
yes.
were the two games that made me love the PlayStation from that moment. And above all, the controllers. It was like something we've not experienced before. The controllers, the DualShock. It was to the extreme that the vibration, the sensation you have when you are playing the Crash Bandicoot, the moment you have the what's the like the Mario star, you get a star, and you kind of rotating and spinning, and the controller will be vibrating on your hand, and that experience was like, wow. When you go to school and you are like, wow, did you see how this game looks like? And you having that experience with somebody, and the person will be telling you why you've not played it before, and I'm like, wow, yeah, have you played it before? And it's like, you no, this is amazing. A controller vibrating at that way, and it's like, I've played the one I've been playing. It was this just a simple controller, but this experience, and that's how I knew when you have money, you just have to use it to the best way possible, because Sony showed how to adapt, to be creative, and to outsmart the competitor. And with that strategy, they created a brand which made to sell PlayStation like nothing has ever been seen before. Because it's like we are the ones selling the product, because they knew what they are about. They knew that we have a controller that is impressive. We had the technology, and I don't know whether you had this, but there's the CD, you have the surface of the CD, it was black.
Are you
Black.
are you talking about the Sega CD?
No, I mean the PlayStation, the black and the blue.
No, no, I'm not familiar with that.
No, I mean the PlayStation One. The PlayStation One. It was the PS2 was blue, but the PlayStation
Oh,
One was black.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, I know what you're talking about now.
In my lifetime, I've not seen that before. It's like the old classic xylophone, the black Surface CD. And as young as I was like, wow, do we have something like this black CD? And it's like, what? And somebody brought it, and it's like, you can scratch it and it still work. And it's like, no, you can't do that. And it's like, wow. And he did it, and he just put it in the console, and it was like functioning. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. Do you have such technology like this? And it's like, how much? Because it was new back then. CD was not something that was old. It was new. So how they spend money to bring something like this, it was smashing everywhere. And for me to have that experience as you know as a boy back then, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is something that I've never seen before. And I was like, I could play this and have this game forever and ever without getting tired or bored. That was what I was thinking back then. I didn't know what I was saying there. I had it and I said, ah. So I didn't own PlayStation. It was, friends. You move around, you talk about games, and you have the one of the richest boys in school, and you'll be
Right,
like,
right.
wow. I had my auntie back abroad, and she sent some for us, and it's like, wow, let's go. So I'll go in there and be playing, and I'll forget that I have to go home.
Yeah,
I've you got to go home, man. But sometimes you'll be like, no, I'm not ready to go. But then it was something else. It was something else.
now I'm not
PlayStation
sure if
just
you guys did or if you did this because I know exactly what you're talking about, right? You don't want to
yeah,
go home. You're so engaged,
yeah,
playing the video games at your friend's house or your cousin's house or someone's house, right? And
yeah,
they're like, "Oh man, your mom wants you home before dark, right?
yeah,
You need to get in the house before the lights come on." And you're like, "Mom, please, please, can I stay over?" I just, I'll make sure I get up on time to go to
no,
school, or hopefully it's the weekend, and you're like, "Man, I can't go home. I don't want to go home.
yeah,
I love this game, man. This is
yeah,
great." And in that moment, you feel like a kid in a candy store, right? You're like,
yeah,
man, because you play games like, if we're talking like, PS1 games, right? Lara Croft, um, with Tomb Raider, man, Crash Bandicoot, right? Spyro the Dragon. Those are just some of the games you're like, Tekken, right?
yeah,
Those games,
yeah.
oh my god, Tekken 2, another one that we played
Yes.
a lot of. And I'm like, man, I don't want to go home. I'm sitting here playing this
Yeah.
game. Dude, you got to go home. You got to get up out of here. You got to go, man. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Are you serious? Like, yeah, my
Yes.
mom wants me to come in and eat. I got to go to
Yeah.
bed.
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
get out,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
And,
We never had that. I never had that. And I never had the luxury of calling, because back then telephone was not that distant. So when it getting late like that, and the, the boy will come in and say, man, are you not going home? My father is coming. My father is coming. And we're like, "Wow, my father is coming." Then somebody's father is coming. He's going to ask you a question. Have you studied? Have you done that? So that will be the one that will scare you and say, no, I have to leave before the father comes in. And that is how I used to roll back then. But never had the luxury of calling and asking for favors back then, because phone was not something that was very paramount or very prominent back in the days. So you live by what you get. And
Yes.
that experience was something that was was massive and impressive, very reminiscent. Yes,
Yeah,
it
so
was wonderful.
I definitely got to be honest with you. We had some interesting experiences. When it comes to gaming, and again, from the Atari um, to like you said, the Famicom, the Nintendo, the
Yeah,
NES, to the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, even our handhelds like the Game Boy, Game
Game
Boy
Boy.
Color,
Yeah,
the Sega Game Gear is one of my
yeah,
best
Game Boy,
favorite
Game Boy,
handhelds
Game Boy.
of all time, man.
Yeah.
Um, then you had other Nintendo
Oh,
systems like Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube, Sega, the
yeah.
Genesis, the Sega Genesis, um, the Mega Drive. Man, we can keep going. The Sega Saturn, the Sega Dreamcast. What else? And then that's when we
Oh,
get into that era, with PlayStation. Now, Xbox didn't follow too far behind, you know?
yes,
So I'm going to assume Microsoft saw what Sony did. It's like, wait a minute,
did.
let me get a piece of the pie, right? So my first Xbox, right? I was
Yeah.
stationed out in Okinawa, Japan, right?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yo, I am gonna go grab. Man, I wish I had it in front of me. I still have it. I was like,
Oh,
the original the Xbox, because I used to. Oh man, it was great because just about every Marine in the squad bay had an Xbox.
wow.
No one really played PlayStation at that time. Um,
Really?
Everybody had an Xbox at that time
Wow.
because it was new. It was like this was something new to us at that time. I was like,
Yes.
holy freaking cow. And I mean, no, 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 no. Yes, yes, yes. We were all playing Xbox at that
And
time
yeah,
because
yeah.
before I left to go to Okinawa, Japan, um, we mainly played the PlayStation 2. We was I mean, I was on the PlayStation 2. Um, and I played a lot of like Final Fantasy, um, like a lot of RPG games. And but when we got over to Okinawa, Japan, it was just Xbox. Everybody just had an Xbox. Now, mind you,
Yeah.
these are Marines. These are Americans. These are not Asian people that had
Yeah.
Xbox. They all you heard about over there with the Asians, well, they don't like to be called Japanese anyway. They like to be called Okinawans. Um, they only knew Nintendo at the time.
Mm,
That's their staple,
mm,
was Nintendo. But when I got to Okinawa, it was Xbox. And
Xbox.
I think one of the games that I did play a lot, I played Ninja Gaiden a lot because Ninja Gaiden is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ninja Garden.
Yes.
But
For the for,
I saw it. I saw it. I
yes,
saw it. I saw it there. Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden. What else? I think it was Capcom versus SNK2. Um,
Okay.
I used to play that a lot, and my wife could tell you, right? I think I
Yeah.
snuck my wife into the barracks one time. And I think it was more than one time because I think I was a corporal back then, and I was able to have my own room. There was two rooms. They were like connected to each other, and lucky me, I was able to have both rooms, and I didn't have a
Okay.
roommate. And
Wow. Lucky for you.
yeah, one side is where I had the sofa and the TV and the Xbox, and the PlayStation, two and
Yeah.
all. I had the games set up there, and then I had the bedroom set up on the other side. I spent most of my time playing Xbox.
Wow.
It was just because, when
Yeah.
you walk into another Marines room, that's all they had. I mean, that's all they were playing was Xbox, right? Because Halo was big. Halo was, dude.
Yes.
It it was so crazy how when Halo came out, you would go
Absolutely.
into the barracks rooms and there'll be like guys with multiple screens set up, freaking playing Halo. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, man, that's all you guys play is freaking Halo. I mean, play something else, man. Halo came out was I don't think Halo came out on the did it come out on Xbox? I think it came out on 360, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember
Halo.
because I'm not a big Halo fan at all.
No, Halo came on Xbox because
I think
that
it
is the
came out on
first time I
Xbox.
got introduced on Xbox.
Right.
That was with Halo. I saw it and I was like, this game is amazing. I've never seen such game before because the first time that was the first time I had an encounter with Xbox with Halo. It was this the cutscene where the general was talking and it shifted. The camera just shifted to Master Chief, and it was like the screen just changed, and the cutscene was so much well done that I was so immersed in that, and I was like, "What kind of game is that?" And a friend of mine said, "Oh, it's Xbox." So I was like, "Wow!" So this game, and it like the shooting was like it was something golden eye like golden eye
Right, right.
the way it acts and the movement and the turning and everything. I was amazed and I was like, wow, I want to try this game. And when I had my moment, I was like, wow, this game is really massive because when you move from the camp base and you are going on a mission and you are like you are just immersed in that world and like that universe and like wow this game. So I get into it and I was asking much about because I didn't back then I didn't know anything about Xbox. It was PlayStation 2 which was well known here and it wasn't massive here. So I was like, and I find out that the game was made with what's the name included with hard drive. PlayStation 2 never had hard drive. So it's like he was playing the game through the hard drive. And I was like, ah, wow, PlayStation 2 never had hard drive. And I was like, so this game, what is it made from? And it's like, oh, Microsoft game. And I was like, wow, Microsoft is making games because back then all we knew was Microsoft Windows.
Yes,
Microsoft
yeah.
Windows, right? So I never heard of Microsoft into gaming. So I was like, wow, if Microsoft is into gaming, that this means that this game is going to be massive. So I was like, oh, so what exactly? That is when I started following Xbox through and through because now we used to have we had internet back then. Internet was the it was what that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was 2003. 2003, yeah, 2003, yeah. So back then internet was available, so you could go on the net and search more about whatever you want to find, and that's how I get much love for this company because how they were, it's just the same story like the Sony one because Sony was in not into gaming. They had money before coming into gaming and they had to distract the market with something that was not done before. Sega, I knew Sega Dreamcast had the leading because Sega Dreamcast. No, I'm digressing. So Xbox coming into the gaming industry with nothing except something new, so that it could change the dynamics. So as they brought the hard drive and included the hard drive in that box, that makes the difference for Xbox. Because back then you could feel like people were not buying games here. So people were like recording games on their hard drive or installing the games on their hard drive so that they can have the experience more. You could play so many games installed in the hard drive and not have any issue with buying CDs, because CDs was like non-existent, and unless you know somebody who knows someone. But to have the game, and it was the selling point that made Xbox to have a market in this country, because PlayStation was ruling. So it made Xbox come into existence. Well, if it was the same way, the same console was done the same way as PlayStation, I don't think people would have given Xbox a chance to even compete, because the hard drive, I think, was a game changer for them. And how smart was Sony? Sony knew that we can allow this thing to happen. So what they do, they made an hard drive for the PlayStation 2. I don't know whether you have one, but they made one for the PlayStation 2.
Right, right, right. Because I mean, you got to think about it as well. Or this is how, uh, that the picture was painted for me, right? When you think of Sony, you think of Sony as far as movies, TVs, right?
Yes.
And then when they decided to get into the gaming market and like,
Yeah.
hey, yo, they planted the seed, right? Here we go,
Yes.
right? Everything is starting to blossom a little bit.
Yes.
And then when you think of Microsoft, you think of computers, right? Because I know you
Right.
guys remember
Right.
the big desktop computer, the big
Yeah.
the big computer tower, and then all these
Yeah.
different type of games that you could play. Even in school, we were excited to go to the computer lab or the library to try to get on and play games or whatever. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get these CDs in the mail, like, oh my goodness, man, I don't even know what internet is, right? I just want
Yeah.
to try to see if I can put this
Yeah.
disc in and figure out what it was. But again, with Microsoft entering into the fray, it created that competition,
Competition.
for Sony. So Sony had to adjust and adapt to that. So, like, wow.
Yes.
So with Microsoft, to me, I think they had an upper hand based on them being in the computer space, right?
Yes.
You would think it would come easy for them to make
Yeah.
games, right? Now, mind you,
Yeah.
I'm not keen, or I'm ignorant at the time or whatever, and over
I
time you
got you.
start to
Yeah. I
learn
got
this
you.
stuff, like what is going on here, right? And
Yeah.
so I enjoyed both. Now the PlayStation 2,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, the
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 had a huge catalog. Okay, I stayed on the PlayStation 2 a lot before, again, like I said, before going to Japan, before I hit the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And I loved, I enjoyed every moment with the PlayStation 2. Hands down, one of the greatest consoles ever made, right? Xbox, I'm loving what they're doing, right? I
Yeah.
love what they have going here. Now we're gonna fast forward. You know where we're going with this, right? The 360. The
60.
360
Wow.
comes out. I'm like, oh my goodness. So when
Oh.
the 360 comes out, I think that's when Microsoft had the separate the CD drive or DVD drive
The
that came separate, or
DVD,
the hard drive. I think it was
the
separate.
hard drive and the DVD. The hard drive, the first one that came out was the one, because they didn't go the route of the PlayStation with the DVD, so they have to go to HD,
Right,
the Blu-ray.
right,
So
right,
because of that, yeah, they had to separate the two. So when you buy the console, the hard drive is in the console, but you didn't have the Blu-ray. So they had to reverse this decision. That made them to have the bundle, a separate DVD-ROM with the Blu-ray in, which was not Blu-ray, but it was HD. They did it HD. Yes. So I was totally disappointed. Back then I was following them, and I was like, wow, I want to see. And it was so massive. It was one site I used to go check, GameSpot. I
right.
I
Mm-hmm.
created an account for GameSpot. Anytime they have this rumor coming in, what the consoles is bringing, they are bringing in some new ideas, because from the export, the original Xbox, it was a new idea back then to have the broadband internet and the hard drive. So it was something that was not done back then. Everybody was like, "Wow, what are they bringing? What are they bringing?" And when they released it earlier, before the PlayStation, I was like, wow, this, and the console itself, the design and everything, just I just fell in love with the console design and everything.
Yes,
I
yes,
never had to, yeah, because at that time everybody was like, what exactly are they bringing that will be different from the one that they had? Because mind you, the first controller that they have, what's the name they had? Something, the name they call it, the Duke, the first controller. It was huge.
yes, yes, yes. I'm definitely gonna have to bring out some retro stuff to show home stream. The old OG Xbox,
Yeah,
the
it was
controller,
huge.
um,
Yeah.
the 360. Because I ended up, getting rid of the 360 for the 360 Elite when they came out with the 360 Elite, and I thought it
Oh,
was the
okay.
best thing since sliced bread. I was like, oh my goodness, this console here is off the hook. Now, mind you, I did have the PlayStation 3. I picked that up. I picked up the biggest one when I was stationed out in Hawaii. Actually, I think my wife had brought it for me, and
Oh, okay.
when it had PlayStation 3 across the front of the console, um, it made me think of Spider-Man. The way Spider-Man, because we used to have the Spider-Man movies. I'm like, are they trying to copy Spider-Man or
Yeah.
something? And the big fat PS3, it was a great console. It
Of
just
course.
it just in the beginning, it didn't have a lot of games that I wanted to play. So that's where I spent most of my time on the 360. Now, mind you,
Yeah.
when the 360 came out, correct me if I'm wrong, that's when Halo became huge. Halo just went through the roof,
True.
and
True. True.
I did play a little bit of Halo during that era, but I really could not get into Halo at all. And again, like I said, I'm not a big Halo fan, but not to take away what Halo has done for Xbox, it was just something that was huge. I mean, it was like everywhere you went, people were talking about Halo. Halo, Halo,
Halo.
Halo. Hey, you want to play some Halo? You want to play some Halo? I'm like, dude, stop. I don't want to play Halo. Oh, you don't you're missing out, man. This is one of the greatest games
Yes.
of all time, man. This is Halo that we're talking about. And then when you see multiple people sitting down playing Halo, I'm like, dude, do you guys take a bath? Do you go eat? Do you go out?
Yes.
There's so much to do. Because I came full circle with that. right? I came full circle. It was just like Halo, 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 Halo,
Yeah.
and mind you, I played pretty much all the Halo games, and there was a couple that I did enjoy playing, like the campaign part of it, but I really couldn't get in. But a lot of the gamers were pretty much prone into playing multiplayer. That's where it
Yes.
was. It was multiplayer across the board, and I'm like, oh my goodness, man, you guys are just at it. So here's what I wanted to do. Here's what I wanted to do. Because we was talking about doing it, and I think we were in Hawaii. Yes, we was in Hawaii at the time, and some of my guys were like, hey, what if we get some chicks and see if we could break up this little swore way, right? Because
Yeah.
we were able to do that at that time. And I was like, man, what are we talking about here, right? It's Halo. You think they're gonna drop the controller over a girl? No, it's
Yes.
not. This is Halo
No
that we're
way.
talking about.
No way.
It's not gonna happen. So that again, the 360 era was hands down. I thought was the best Microsoft offered at the time.
Yes.
Again, now don't get me wrong. PlayStation did catch up at the end. There were games that started to come out, and
That is what they said. That yeah. Do you believe that?
yes, because I was there. I was there, dude. I was there, man. I was like, yo, because it didn't sit well with me to have my PlayStation 3 sit there, man. Come on. I traded it in and got the Slim. Um, and I was like, man, I got to get on it. The Last of Us. Come on. Come on. That was one of the games
Yes.
I was like, yo, this is it, man. And but
Unfortunately for me, I never played The Last of Us before the console died. The fa- I couldn't reach there before it died. So
you silly.
yes.
but hey, I gotta give you this though. With Xbox, we used to play Call of Duty a lot on Xbox. I mean, it
Yeah.
was it was all day long with Call of
Call of
Duty.
Duty.
You know, you being able to sit there and you get into the rhythm of it. You get better at the game,
Yes.
and you get your KD up and all that good stuff, and then also you enjoy. Me, I didn't have a problem with it. Um, I love sitting, playing Call of Duty and listening to a grown man argue with a little kid.
Yeah.
When they get hit up or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you argue with a little kid on this game. I used to
Before.
laugh so much; it was great. And and there was times that I threw my controller across the room, right? When you get hit up by a little
Wow.
kid, dude, I'm like, come on, man, let's stop. And one of the Call of Duty games that was one of my favorites was Black Ops.
Black Ops. Yeah.
Black Ops came out. Oh my goodness, it was on. It was on like Donkey Kong, man.
I,
I haven't said that in a long time, but that was one of my favorite games. And then Black Ops 2 came out.
yeah.
That's where it stopped. Black Ops 3 and the rest, I didn't really, get into. But 1 and 2 were the two FPS games um, that I played a lot. Now, mind you, there was a lot of games on the 360, that
Absolutely.
I'd rather,
Uh,
that I played that I didn't really care about playing on the PS3 at the time. So, even in third party games, I always stuck with the Xbox 360. Now, moving along, PS4. PS4, Xbox One, the history behind that, right?
yeah, I
What
do.
took place,
It wasn't.
especially on the Xbox One side. Um, you know, a lot of gamers did not like what was going on there. So I don't even know what happened there. I mean, why did that take place? I'm like, what are you guys doing? I mean, you have the upper hand, with the 360 era
They just messed
over
up everything.
PlayStation, and you're screwing up, right?
Messed up everything.
So I
I
just
was really following them on the net, and most of the media back then, and I was like, every single details you hear from Xbox version is always bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, and it influenced me, not because I wanted to purchase it back then. I couldn't afford that at that time though, but I became a fan of their product. I became interested in what, when you get attached to something, you kind of like, wow, you want them to do well. You care, not too, like, not into extreme, but at least you care about what you want them to be successful. So when you hear this from afar and you are like, why would they change their mind? It's like they are thinking faster than time.
right,
I
right.
don't know. They are thinking faster than the time, because you had the momentum with the games. You had a momentum with the games. Why don't you build on it, like in the first half of the generation? Then you carry on with an update with like the TV. But it was like they always want to be the first innovators in always everything, and that cost them, and that cost them what they had with their 360. Because if you want to be always ahead with innovation, the innovation has to come from the games, not features on the console. It has to come, the innovation has to come from the games.
I
And
agree.
PlayStation saw that. They saw that and they knew that if we had a bad generation, so what are we going to do? We need to show things off, because beginning of the generation of the PlayStation, they had not amount of games, but they were able to market it well enough for people to buy into it and say these games look massive. When they showed is it uh what's the name, Naughty Dog, at their press conference at E3, I was also following that E3. Back then, the game was not even ready, but they had something to show for the future for people to see that this is what the PlayStation 4 can do. But PlayStation, they knew how to market it and they knew how to sell themselves up for it. And they saw it and they took the chance from what Microsoft had. And Microsoft, being so arrogant, excuse me to say, being so arrogant, they thought that the momentum they have will propel them to have whatever they bring on board to the market, people going to buy it. But they were forgetting one thing, that it was about the games. The games was what showed out everything for them. So if you want to push something, it should come, the games has to come first before whatever you want to add, because the original one, they push the game first. The original Xbox, they pushed the game first. They were searching for studios. They were searching for studios to buy. They were not searching for innovation to buy. They were searching for studios to purchase. That's when they had this studio, the one that makes the motorsports.
Right, right.
The motorsports. They purchased them. They had two particular studios that they closed. They are the one that the one that they had was Fable. What's the name? the Lionhead Studios. Lionhead Studios, they were the
Yes,
makers, the
yes.
creators of
Mm-hmm.
Fable. Yeah, they were going around looking for creative studios to make the games for them. So when they came into the 360, they had the momentum because their mindset was always about the games. And sometimes the leadership also carries on to something because from the one that they had from the original Xbox to the 360, the one who was in charge for the 360 was someone of a lover of the game person, the person who appreciate games, not innovation like the Xbox One.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because I got to say that we were all we're here, right? We're here. We were, a part of that history. We knew what took place. It was highly transparent, right? You could see it, through smoke and mirrors, and a lot of gamers had questions around it, like, okay, what are we doing here, right? And one thing that I do have to agree with you on is that yes, that momentum was there, especially with the 360. Now you're leading off for the 360. How do you even counter attack your own success, right? How do you
Yeah,
compete with that? And Xbox One, right? Xbox One, great, Xbox One. That's the name of the next console. All right,
yeah,
now let's see what are you offering here with the Xbox One? Okay, great games. We know Halo is coming first, right? Halo is
yeah,
always coming
yeah.
first.
It
So that's
always
what
comes.
one of your top staple games. What else?
Yeah,
What else are you offering with the Xbox One? What's up with this DRM stuff? What are you talking about? What is this online 24/7 type deal? No, 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 because we already know that Microsoft is computer, right?
yeah,
I mean, when you think Microsoft, I'm like online. I was like, great, great, yes, we can do the online thing, but that's already in place. That structure is already in place. What are you saying here? This is gonna push gamers away. Let's not destroy what you have going for you, right? You could be that market leader right here
yeah,
and there.
yeah.
But then when Sony comes out, and I don't know if you remember that commercial or that ad,
The
and it was like,
sharing art,
how do we share
the sharing
games?
art.
And
Yeah,
and they just handed the game over. It
that
was,
was on E3.
dude. It
That
was
was on E3.
that was a dagger. That was
Yeah,
it right there. I was like, holy cow! Sony did
I
not just
remember.
show up Microsoft,
Yeah,
and I don't know who it was, but someone from the Microsoft team tweeted out, um, if you can remember what it was, he made a statement. Well, if you don't want an Xbox, then you can play the Xbox three something
I
something.
know. Yeah, that was when he was asked by this person that what is he offering for? What is he offering for the 360? What is he offering? Because it was back then, if I could remember, if I'm not mistaken, it was always online, always online.
Yes,
So the question was put to him, since it's always online, what is he offering that will make others come into it, come into the Xbox games? Because people who were in 360 didn't had always online. So it was like, okay, if that is the case, it means that those who want to play locally, they can go back and play it on 360. But if you don't want to play it online, then stick with your 360.
I think I
So it was,
yeah, I think that's
yeah,
what it was, and
yeah,
that fired a lot of people, up. A lot of gamers got upset about that. Even if,
Yeah.
not just some of the
The,
fanboys,
the
but
the name just escaped me. I knew the name. The name just came. Uh, the name could somewhat, if anybody is in the chat, could they help us here?
oh yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. So thank you for bringing that up. So we're gonna go ahead and end it on a good note. Because we did make it all the way up to the Xbox One, and
yeah.
this was just mainly about the consoles. Yeah, we threw some
Yes. Yes.
dialogue in there about some games as well, but it was mainly about the consoles, and
Console.
and not into great detail, but what they offered at the time in these eras. So we can go to the chat. Um, and man, I wish I could. Let me see if I can open it up and get you to see it. Um, I don't think I can. See if I could. No, it's not allowing me to. Um, so definitely, what's gonna happen? What needs to happen? Hold on. Can I move it over? Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure it's allowing me to move it over. So what I'm gonna do offline, I'm gonna try and. Oh man, I think we lost him. So well, I think he will try to chime back in. And while I got you guys in the chat, we definitely want you guys to be a part of the conversation as well. And this is something that we are going to push moving forward, because we definitely want you guys' opinions on some of the talking points that we're going to be talking about, discussing in the series. And I hope you guys are still in the chat. So we're gonna go to the chat, and we're gonna start from the top and work our way down. I'm not sure if Devon is still in the chat. Again, what's up? 420. I'm not sure if you're still in the chat. So let's go down and see what he has to say here. Stream sounds good so far. Still running around waiting for the daughter to get out of dance class. Okay. Yes, the bazaar. The bazaar was a blast. I'm glad that you remember the bazaar. We did used to go there a lot, not just for video games, but for clothing as well. I just remember walking in the front or the entrance where they had the jewelry section right in front of you, and a lot of the Marines would walk in there and buy jewelry for some apparent reason, these necklaces and stuff like that. But Mission Bazaar was great. We had a great time visiting there. Now they charge for that easy fatality. I don't know if you guys remember Mortal Kombat Trilogy, but there was a code that you put. What it wasn't really a code, but if you hold down the L1, L2, R1, and R2, and hold up on the PlayStation controller, it takes you to this secret menu where you can turn on one button fatalities and stuff like that. We had a great time playing that game. Regular PS1 games, they were DVDs. I love the Blu-ray disc. As having kids, the old disc formats would get scratched way too easy. Yes, remember those days where your PlayStation disc got scratched up. They did come out with these scratch fixers, whatever. You could just put your disc into this little whatever it was, and then you can actually fix the disc the best you can. Not sure if you guys remember those. Canadian Jedi, if you're still here, man, it's good to see you in the chat here, and we're definitely looking forward to having you guys on the podcast as well. So I'm hoping Patriot Enigma can come back in. He was having some issues with his internet connection, so hopefully he's able to come back in. I see you guys are speaking. About waiting on my door. Okay. You look over try Far Cry 6. Okay. Maybe this weekend. So you guys are chit chatting together. Because it's made in America, they had them for sale in the commissary. Yes, they did. Also, a time where they didn't want those PS2 chips getting into the wrong hands, as they could be used for missile guided systems. Dude, do you remember that? That's crazy. Canadian Jedi says the OG Xbox. Yes. Yes. Halo. I think that's when the Halo first came out on the OG Xbox. That's when the guys were like, that's where it all began, right? OG at 360. Yet once the 360 came out, man, Halo was big. I mean, it was huge. Right now, I have no clue where it is and where it's going. Big Body Jose, man, it's good to see you, man. If any of you guys are still in the chat, it's really, really good to see you guys. And if you are watching the podcast here, this is a prelude to a state of gaming series that we're going to do. And we definitely would like you guys to be a part of it too. So there's a whole lot to talk about. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more news that's going to come out here in the next few days, weeks, whatever. And we definitely want you guys to be a part of that discussion. And again, today was just only taking a trip back down memory lane. And, from the Atari, Nintendo days, Sega, PlayStation, and Xbox, just to reminisce and get that out the way. And even though there's still a whole lot to talk about during those eras, but as of right now, with, generations, you have that new generation here, and what they know is what's in the now. Unless you sit and have, let me see if I can bring him back in. Let's see. I think he's coming back in. So as he loads in there, all right, there he is.
Oh,
There he
sorry
is.
about that.
Welcome back, man. I know how it is, when it comes to the internet connections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and and I was just going over the chat, and one thing that I'm going to do offline is make sure that we get the chat up where that you can see it, and and also if we have others on the podcast here so that they can see the chat as well, and then we can invite the chat into the conversation and answer any questions that they may have. But I think we don't have anything in the chat right now. But if we do have anyone on that's watching the stream right now, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us out on Twitter. I'm gonna give my alias, and then I'll let Patrick Enigma have the floor. Just follow me out on Twitter at Game Reactions 40. That's where we house all our gaming news, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. Just to keep everyone
Yeah.
updated and on what's coming out. Um, Also follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jasmine
Yeah.
Karen. I am in the process of changing that name because I don't want people to call me Jasmine every time they come into the stream. And so I am working that piece out. For some reason, I tried changing the name of the channel, but it wouldn't let me for
But
some
it's
reason.
associated to the brand.
Say again.
It's associated with a brand.
Yes, yes, yes. So
I
it
mean, the other line of business, since the name, the collection.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so some work to do on that. So yes, and also please continue to follow us out on Twitter. I mean, and be subscribed to the channel because we are still doing giveaways, and we have a few big ones coming up um, that we're focusing on right now to make sure that we're able to get that into someone's hands. During the Christmas holiday, and
Yeah. It's coming soon. So guys, be don't lose guide on this one. You just have to come on, follow up, and be sure to always be ready for the giveaways because Christmas, if Christmas is going to be crazy this year. So everybody, please come on, follow us, and let us make this show as great as it could be. All right.
yeah, and thanks for that, PE, and I mean he's been great throughout this process since since I introduced it, and he's jumped on board, and he's been helping me out through it all. So I really appreciate you for everything that you've done so
Oh,
far, and let's just keep it moving, and hopefully
yeah,
we start to see some it grow, the channel grows, and
yeah.
we get other people
Show
involved,
us some
and
love. Show us some love more and more and more and more and more.
exactly, and
Because
we'll definitely show you some love as well.
yes,
So and let's keep it positive, right? Keep it
yeah,
positive. There's so much going on in the world today, and let's just stay gaming, and let's just talk
yeah,
about it and enjoy it. And
yes,
we know you out there. We know you have your preference. We know we're gonna have the Xbox fans. You are invited. We know we got the PlayStation fans. You are invited. Nintendo, PC, everyone is
Thi-
invited at
this
the
this
table.
this channel is about gaming and reaction.
Yes,
No preferential treatment. We all are a family, a gaming family. We always share a common goal here. So please, whatever you want to discuss, whatever you want to say, please come on and share it with us. We are a family. In gaming, we are together.
absolutely. And you got to be able to take some constructive criticism too.
Yes.
I can trust me. We're gonna have it, right? We're gonna have it. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, once we leave here, we respect each other, and
Sure.
and just keep it keep it clean, man. Keep it clean and keep it gaming,
Yeah.
and then so that we can continue to come back here and have these conversations and enjoy ourselves, because it's about time that we share um, where we stand on the state of gaming, and
Yeah.
and we are going to try our best to see if we could get those people. I don't want to say those people. Um, get developers into the stream as well. I am
Yeah.
working on that piece to hopefully we can get developers in the
That's
stream
lovely. That's lovely.
and
That's lovely.
share and share their
Uh,
experience as a
experience.
developer,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
and
Yes.
and not just that, and give it their, and be transparent, with everybody,
Yeah.
that joins us. So, yes, definitely
Because
gonna be.
always, yeah, our gaming and reactions always bring something different. So whatever any developer will come, the questions is going to be clean as always, and always diverse.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're watching the stream right now, if you have any questions for us, drop them in the chat. We're just gonna hang out, probably for just another 5 minutes. If you have any questions, if you're watching the podcast right now, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell and all. You have to turn on that notification bell and all in order for you to be notified, when we go live. Um, and now, not just podcasts. Also, the month of October is going to be busy for a lot of you because there's a lot of games that's coming out.
Yeah.
October, you know, November, December, for both consoles. So
Yeah.
I know you're gonna be occupied playing video games, and that's what we're gonna be doing too. So I know I'm gonna be down here in the back cave, doing some live gameplay, streaming here.
As we are playing along, then we are discussing.
Yes, yes. So
Yes.
so what you see right now, this setup right here, we can
Yeah.
actually have, the conversation while playing
Conversation.
the game.
Yes.
You know?
This is unique. You don't see that anywhere in
Yes,
any
yes,
other channel. Yeah.
I have yet to see that on any other channel. So,
Yes.
um, so let's start that and get that rolling. So, um, so if you have any questions, let us know, in the chat. If not, um, again, PE, we will work things around, your schedule, and and just to let you guys know that PE, he is from the motherland. He's from Ghana,
Yes.
so
Yes. Yes.
he's
This is
in a
Ghana.
whole different time zone.
Yeah.
So so
I'm going to put a piece of a short clip. Uh, I don't know whether this movie, White Men Can Jump. There's a scene where uh, the white guy, I've forgotten his name, wanted to play some pointers, 3 points, and there were two uh, basket. One was Sudan, and the other one was Ghana. And he wanted to try to shoot on the one that is Ghana. And the guy stood up and said, "No, what are you doing? This is Ghana. Go for Sudan." I just love that scene.
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll find it and put it there.
But you know what?
This is Ghana.
I appreciate I appreciate you, man. I really do.
So
And
likewise,
I
definitely.
appreciate you giving your thoughts, and opinions on,
Oh,
you know um, your upbringing with game. And I know you have a lot more to talk about once we start the
yes,
series, because we talked offline, and
yeah,
I'm definitely going to give you the floor, because it is something that needs to be discussed and brought to the forefront, especially
absolutely,
with, what
absolutely,
Microsoft, is, just to give you guys just a small little sneak peek, of
yeah,
what's to come. And with Microsoft is how they're building Game Pass, to be the, spearhead, in what they're, wanting to do, and for the future of gaming, as well. So PE is going to share, his thoughts
yeah,
and opinions around that, and hopefully, we can get the word out to someone, hopefully someone is paying attention, right?
Someone. Yes.
And say, hey, because I've asked a question. I've asked a question. I have yet to receive a response. I'm not. I don't keep my expectations here. I expect no response, right?
Yeah.
Is the Phil Spencer gonna reply to me, or is he looking at it and say,
Of course.
who
Of
are
course.
you?
Because
It's just a simple question, and just like when I question PlayStation about PlayStation stars, I think it's a good reward system. However, there's some questions around it that I
but
asked.
I have a different take on that. So maybe we can discuss that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna save that for another time. So
Yes.
let's make sure that we get that set up soon. We don't want to have
Yes.
a huge gap in between what we have done today, and
Yeah.
and let's start talking about the state of gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
All right, my man. Well, I did say we're gonna linger on for another 5 minutes. 5 minutes
It's up.
has come.
Oh,
And so again, PE, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you for joining the first
me too.
podcast here.
You
Uh,
were lovely. This is our first podcast, and I think you were amazing. And I think that whatever you are doing, I know that this channel is going to grow more than you expected. So I hope that the strength will come, so that when without strength, you can't keep going. So
right,
God willing, we'll hope to reach what ambition we've set up for this channel, because I know that we have a good host here. So if a very good, definite host, we're gonna host this person. I hope, and the dream is that one day Phil Spencer will be here and be like, "Wow, I I came into this channel and I enjoyed a very good host, and with a good, very clean questions and everything." That would be the dream.
I'm definitely optimistic.
Me too.
And let's see where it goes from here. Let's just
Yeah.
keep positive and just keep working at it. Just keep working hard. And again, it's not just for this is not just for me. It's for all of us. This channel
Yeah.
is for all of us,
It's,
and
it's a,
that's my vision on with this channel. It's not
yeah.
just for me to gain subscribers and followers, but also allow everyone to come on and express their thoughts and
Get the
opinions.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, give you the opportunity to shout yourself out, and
Yes.
and we will do everything that we can to help promote what you're doing. And
Yeah.
because there's not a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of YouTubers out there that's trying to get their channels off the ground, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
When it comes to the resources and trying to find a niche, and trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
What can I do to get off the ground? And they have those questions. Now, I don't have the answers to all of that, but
Of course.
we can
Of
help
course. You know.
each other out to
Yeah.
figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
true.
much love to you, brother. Get some
You too,
rest.
brother.
I know it's late, man.
Uh,
And stay off the Xbox.
oh man, we'll talk more about it. But
I got
I
you.
appreciate your love.
I got you. All right, my
Awesome.
man. Well, one love.
Greetings to the family, though.
Yes.
Mm.
Take care of that family of
Bless
yours,
you.
man.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.